Okay, this is, you'll see some of the old Webassign coming back in here. This is, again, just a straightforward limit. In here, one of the ways, and I see you guys doing it at your desks, is putting in a large number in for n and then looking what happens. So this is a limit that you're supposed to find as n goes to infinity. I plugged in n equals 1,000. I was using some free calculator that I got as a download on my phone, and it said it was 0. So I put in 0. It's the same answer that Webassign has. Remember to put your cell phones away. Just a reminder. As a rule, if the bottom is getting big, so you have 2 over 7 to the 9th, that bottom's getting big, just think big bottom goes to 0. You sound like a mean class? That big bottom goes to 0. Always happens. So everything you do is going to be along those lines. This is the next problem on Webassign, and this is what people seem to forget. In the 1020 section, the same thing happened. So you're asked to do 2 things on my quizzes. You're asked to first do the numerics so you can see the answer with Excel, but I also ask you to do it analytically, and some of you are asking me, what do you mean analytically? For those of you who don't like the procedure part, it's the procedure thing. So you can always see the answer by just plugging in a huge number in for n and then cranking it on your calculator. You have to make sure the parentheses are there. That's another thing that you get really good at if you play around with your calculator or Excel. You'll learn. I saw some of that going on in the front too. It really bothers me because I want to tell you that it's an error, but I can't tell you because it's a quiz. I was watching you put it in and thinking, trying to send you mental telepathy. I'll put the parentheses around there. I don't think it worked. Did it work? It didn't work. Put the parentheses around or else it thinks it's something different. If you don't put the parenthesis here on the bottom, if you don't put the parenthesis on the top, it does this first, and then it subtracts 9 and it divides that 9 by 1,000 cubed. Not this whole thing divided by this whole thing. So take the whole numerator, put it in parentheses, and then the whole denominator and put it in parentheses. If you don't, you'll get something wrong. On my calculator, the one I downloaded, it gave me 0.99999, which is essentially 1. So I guess my answer is 1. So by analytics, that's procedural. Divide every term by the highest power. This is the one where I saw something funky on the answer thing for Webassign. The way that I saw the answer, you have to really think harder, and you eventually have to divide, but I think whoever wrote that was doing it in their head. So that's the problem. So you divide every term by the highest power. What's the highest power in that fraction? N cubed. So I take every term and divide by n cubed. N cubed, and I get 1 minus 9 over n cubed and 1 plus 9 over n cubed. What happens when the bottom gets big? Goes to 0. Big bottoms go to 0. So I get 1, which I already knew that. Right? By the way, you know the lim, you're supposed to technically put limit in front of here, limit in front of here. Remember that problem I gave you where they're not exactly equal? You can cover your butt by just putting your arrow on your last step. That's how you can get away with not putting lim everywhere. And I don't know if that'll make a big difference because for me it's not that important, but if you take another math class, it is. You might like math enough to take another math class. Then I've really won. It happens sometimes. Question?